Involving roadside crosses in Utah, the 12-foot high crosses placed to honor fallen state troopers. But a group called American Atheists is suing to take them down.
They should be honored, but they can be honored in a way that doesn't emphasize religion. The First Amendment of the Constitution says government and religion shouldn't mix.
Joining us now, Joey Jackson and Robert Schalk, both are defense attorneys and former prosecutors. Guys, good to have you here.
Thanks.
All right, let's begin in the beginning, the First Amendment. Let's put it up on the screen. This is the part that is at issue here. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. So if it's on public property, Robert Schalk, is this the government establishing religion?
I say yes for a couple of reasons. The crucifix that are being used here is a clear indication of the Christian religion. To say that it is a secular symbol of religion, to me, is kind of a hollow argument to make, because there is no other symbol, I believe, in the world that speaks to religion more than the crucifix. And you're putting 12-foot high crosses on public land. It's not to honor someone. Well, I mean, that's the point.
Are you telling me that all those crosses at Arlington National Cemetery would have to be removed under your reasoning?
Absolutely not, because at Arlington National Cemetery you have crosses, you have other religious symbols that are there as well, that take the wide variety of religions that there are in the United States and across the world. But you expect to see crosses at Arlington National Cemetery. You don't expect to see a 12-foot high cross on the side of a roadway while driving down in Utah.
It's not the size of the symbol, it's the significance of it. And in talking about the significance, I have to tell you, Greg, let's look at the test. The test is the government endorsing a religion? I think it's a resounding no. When I see a symbol like this on a Utah highway, when you look at it, the first thing that comes to mind is not, the government's endorsing religion. Oh my goodness, they're giving preferential treatment. What it is, it's a clear symbol and an indication that they are honoring those who have fallen. That is the connotation that it's meant and it's made to me. And as a result of that, and I'm all for political correctness, I get it. But are we going to now turn the Constitution on its head because a couple of atheists come out and say, you know what, this goes too far. It shows that the government is preferring. And what was really astounding in the opinion, Greg, and I'm sure you've read it at least 3 times, is the fact that they were really talking about and saying that this would demonstrate that they would prefer Christians in their hiring practices and Christians in giving them preferential treatment and how government would respond to them. I think that that's outrageous.
You know, what I also read was the U.S. Supreme Court decision, Robert, Salazar versus Bueno, which came down last year. A very similar case involving a cross in San Diego. Now, the court sort of sidestepped the main issue, but they wrote about it. It was a 5-4 decision which upholds the use of a cross. Justice Kennedy wrote this: the goal of avoiding governmental endorsement does not require eradication of all religious symbols in the public realm. If the High Court takes this case, I'm willing to bet they're going to side on the side of the cross.
Luckily for me, I read that today, and it was one cross in the desert, I believe, that had been there since 1934, and there was a little issue there in the sense that they transferred the land it was on from the government.
Which is why I say they sidestepped it, but they talked about the case.
They didn't, but that was one single cross, not 14 crosses, and I think a good point to take into consideration here is when the first cross was put in Utah, it was put on private land. Somewhere back in 1998, somebody said, we should be careful of where we put this.
But, Bob, it could be that it's one cross, but understand, in this case, these are not multiple crosses that are all together. These are crosses that are along the roadside and at differing places. Also, remember this. There are 14 crosses, and of the 14, 11 are Mormon people. Mormon and the faith that they ascribe to doesn't recognize the cross. So clearly, this has no religious meaning, no religious connotation. You know, the connotation is clear. It's non-religious, should be respected, Robert, they should stay.
The federal courts have upheld the use of "In God We Trust" on coins and dollar bills and so forth, even though atheists brought the same argument in front of those judges. And the reasoning is, the high courts have said, it amounts to a national motto or slogan that is secular in nature. Isn't the cross comparable?
I'm a Christian. raised a Christian, and to me, for someone to tell me that the cross is secular is offensive to me as a Christian, because it means so much more to that. So I think
but
it's
it means
difficult.
many things to many different people.
That may
not
be
just you.
That may be true. But what I'm saying is the fact that someone is trying to secularize something like the cross and say, this is just to honor somebody, again, I think we're walking a fine line.
Joey, forget about what it means to all of us. What does it mean in the context of how it's used here?
Right.
And what it means is that they're honoring fallen people, and the connotation I get is just that honor, just that respect.
Sure.
We need to respect the fact that they put it there to recognize those who have died.
Some of those slain officers may not have been Christian
At all.
You know. All right, Robert Schalk, Joey Jackson, we'll wait and see how the Supreme Court decides.
Thanks very much.